Let's get a little bit personal for a second, if that's okay.
Sure.
What mistakes have you made in business? And I asked that from the point of view of, not to focus on the negative, but really what you learned from it. What's the hindsight now?
I've made a couple of mistakes. The first mistake I made was assuming that anyone who I hired had the same drive and determination to have my baby succeed as I did, and that's not the case. You're never going to find someone who has the same drive that you do, because that doesn't exist. It's your baby. You might find someone who's dedicated, but it's always going to have to be from you. That's number one. Number two, I learned that the Greeks said you have to take care of yourself before you take care of anyone else. I think I took way too long in my life to learn who I was and what my strengths and weaknesses were, and tried to do everything. And that cost me. I think if I did it again, I would be very aware of sort of who I am, what I'm doing, and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and I would assign people to do things I'm not good at.
What did it cost you?
Definitely a few relationships, no question about that. But it probably cost me, I probably could have sold Harrow for more. I'm certainly not complaining about what I sold it for. It was great, but I think had I had the guts to maybe hold on to it for another couple of years. And my problem was it was getting so big, I didn't want to have to become the boss who had to manage 20 people. I wanted to continue having fun with it, and those are my options: was sell it or become that boss. And perhaps if I had found someone who could have been the boss, I could have stepped back from that and still focus on making great content, but let someone else handle that day-to-day stuff. Instead, I just got rid of it, which, again, I have no problem with. I never have any complaints about the deal I made. But, that was one. And I think also, learning sort of what works for you and what doesn't, both professionally and personally. I have learned over the years that I have, my massive ADHD, that's a given. But a majority of people that have ADHD also have very addictive personalities. And I've learned that I do. And I've learned to be very aware of how I live and what I do. I give speeches all over the world, and yet the only place I have a rider in my contract, I'm the most easy person in the world. Fly me somewhere, pay me, I'll speak. That's my contract. Except in Vegas. In Vegas it says, speaker does not have to be on the ground for more than 7 hours from wheels down to wheels up. So I'll take a 6 a.m. flight. I'll get in at 10, do a noon keynote, and I'm back in at 4 p.m. Flight out. Vegas is not a good place for me, and not even so much as I like to gamble. I really don't that much, but it's one of those places where, unlike New York, where you can sort of get everything you want, in Vegas it's literally delivered to you, and you just, for someone who's ADHD who constantly needs something to do, there's no place like stimulation like Vegas. And okay, let's play blackjack, and the drinks are free, and this is 18 hours later, yeah, it's like a fucking hangover. I'm like, okay, so you learn what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah, interesting. What's something about you? I know you have a lot of fans. What's something about you that maybe your fans or some of the people around you don't know about you? We were talking off camera about the fact that you went to performing arts school. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to high school performing arts. I'm a vocal major. I sang. Graduated with Marlon Wayans and Omar Epps. Jennifer Aniston graduated a year before me. And we used to use it as a badge of honor, like all these really awesome people that graduated high school. And then like 7 or 8 years ago, Nicki Minaj graduated from LaGuardia. Fucked it up for everyone else, but it was like this. LaGuardia was awesome. I had a great time there. And then, what don't other people know about me? I have a massive, massive imposter complex. I
Really?
wake up every day assuming this is the day everyone's gonna find out I'm full of shit, and that's all bullshit.
Why?
I don't know. Probably from growing up, bad self-image, fat kid, fat Jewish kid, whole thing. Never really goes away. Years of therapy has helped tremendously, but it's never truly gone. I have a wife who, she's psychotic because she's, that's what wives are, just in principle, and so are husbands. But she's hot as hell, right? She's creative director at Saatchi, and every day I wake up, we have a stunningly beautiful kid. And I look at the child, I'm like, my God, I'd love to meet the guy my wife cheated on me with to have this kid. This kid's gorgeous. Certainly didn't come from me. And I look at the wife, and I'm like, I can't believe she's still here. Why is she so lazy that she hasn't gone and found someone worthy of her? It's the constant argument you have in your head. I think that a lot of people do. I'm just probably stupid enough to admit it.
That's interesting. It surprises me, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that if you get, again, I think a lot of people who have had any modicum of success have that level of imposter syndrome. I just don't think a lot of them have the balls or, again, stupidity to talk about it.
Yeah.
My logic is, I'm an open book, and I'm happy to talk about anything. What was the line from Game of Thrones? Speak your weaknesses, for once they are out, they can no longer hurt you.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then they showed just nude women.
So is that the reason for the self-deprecation and the negative self-talk? And this, you think
Probably.
if I get it out, it's like,
Well, I didn't think it's that. I just think it's, it comes from, like, I did an Ironman, I did my second Ironman this summer, and I had a T-shirt made up in the Game of Thrones style. You'd have, like, House Baratheon and I had House Fat Ass, and on the back it just said, my logo was, is that pizza? And it's like, and I wore it, and people were, like, cracking up. They thought it was the funniest thing ever, but, that's fine. I'm still out there doing the goddamn Ironman. You're not, so.
But there's some truth in that. You feel like a little bit of.
Of course there is. I could weigh 8 pounds. I don't want to weigh 6. There's no question about it. It could be all in my foot. I'd want to lose like 4 pounds off my foot. It's ridiculous. And the funny thing is that I've lost a ton of weight. I've gained a ton of weight. I've lost some weight. I've gained it, and whenever it's like a radical cycle because you gain the weight back. Oh God, I'm so miserable that I gained all the weight back. How do I fix that? I know. I'll eat food. It's like this God's ultimate practical joke.
Yeah. Well, there's therapy for that.
Oh yeah, believe me, I'm well aware. Well aware. And that's the funny thing is like I don't have an eating disorder or whatever. I just fucking eat too much. When I go, and that's the other thing is, and this comes from ADD as well. Most people with ADD or ADHD, we don't have middle grounds. We have sleeping and all the way the fuck on.
Yeah.
There is no middle ground for me. So when I'm either going vegetarian, all natural, no processed food for 60 days and dropping 30 pounds, or every meal's pizza.
Yeah.
I don't have a middle ground, and that's like the one thing I hope my daughter does not get from me is I hope she has more of a balance than I do.